It is day 4 of working with Barkley on his place command. The same time I've been working on this dude, I've had his brother Yogi also working on the same stuff, place command, couple leash manners, stuff like that. But this is their first session working together. So don't really have too much on the books for them. I just want to see how they do with the place command together and then talk through a couple things while I've got them working here. So let's go ahead and get started. Barkley, place. Yes, good boy. Stay. Yogi, place. Nope. Place. Good boy. Stay. All right. So kind of the first thing I wanted to talk through is just the principle of training two dogs together. So with two dogs, my recommendation is always going to be to work with them separate first, so you can kind of lay a good solid foundation of the command or behavior you're working on. And then whenever both dogs really understand what it is you're looking to do, then you can bring them together and start working on them together. Not to say that you can't just start from scratch with them together, but it's going to be a lot more of a headache and a lot more complicated when you're trying to focus on, correcting a bad behavior in one dog, rewarding a good one from another. It just gets real sticky, real tricky, and it's not the best learning experience. Because again, dogs are going to learn the fastest and the best whenever they succeed the most. So every time they do the right thing and get a reward, that gets implanted a lot faster. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk through is going to be kind of a roadmap on where you take your training. So if you've been following along with this little video series I've been making, I started with him luring onto the bed, then giving the command a name, introducing distractions. So kind of where do you take it from here? I'm happy with their performance. I'm more than happy to hand them over to the pet parent. They've got a good foundation of what a place command is, but they're still going to have to be working with them at home to continue developing this skill and applying it in new locations. So dogs are terrible at generalizing. So what that means is, all of their training has been in this little yard right here off to the side of our building. So they may perform fantastic right here in this yard, but if I take them just a few blocks down the road to a different yard, I'm not expecting them to perform this good. It's a new environment with new sights, sounds, smells, and a lot of things to distract them. We've got a siren going off over there. So just because they can do well in one area does not mean they can do well in another area. You have to spend time training at that location with those distractions present. So again, even though they can do this very well at home, or very well here, whenever they get home, they're gonna have to do a lot more work to reestablish what the foundation is at home. So to kind of segue that, if you're working with your own dog and you've built up your own obedience, your command, whatever it is you're working on, then, where do you take it from here? You've got the bare bones. They can do the behavior when you ask it, whenever, say you're in your kitchen. Well, from your kitchen, you got to slowly introduce new areas and new distractions. So you may start in the kitchen and then move to your bedroom, then the bathroom, living room. Any of the rooms within your house, your dog should be able to perform the behavior. Then the next step is to branch out and go maybe the backyard or the front yard. Your home is kind of your center point on a target. And so every new location should just be a step away from your home, further and further out. But again, they're only going to perform as good as you train in those environments. And so, right now this is their first time working together. They're doing fantastic, but I really haven't done a whole lot. I've just been sitting here talking to the camera, haven't really gave them too much distractions, but they're doing really good. But again, I'm not anticipating them to do that well if I were to start throwing toys and stuff like I was in the last one. Good job, boys. The last thing I kind of wanted to touch on is, if you're wanting to train a command, it should be applicable to your day-to-day life. So with a place command like this, you know, I use this almost every day with my personal dog. If I've got guests coming over, send her to the place so she's not jumping on them, going crazy. I'll let her kind of simmer down in the place, and then I'll let her get off to go greet the guests. And then again, you know, if I'm vacuuming or cleaning a whole lot, I don't want her chasing after the vacuum or getting under my feet, getting in the way. Send her to the place, do my cleaning, then let her off. You can use a place command for dinner time, when guests come over. You know, the possibilities are endless. Whatever you just need to get the dog out of the way, you can use a place command. That being said, there's got to be a point. You know, you can train a bunch of different tricks. You can make them shake, do handstands, you know, whatever it may be, but the best obedience is going to be used day to day so that it's reinforced. There's got to be a purpose behind what you're asking them to do. That's why I'm not a big fan of all the tricks like shake and stuff like that. It's a cool little party trick for sure. It's cute and all that, but if I'm just talking about obedience, I want the commands to be things that I can use in day-to-day life. They serve a function, they protect the dog, and they honestly just, you know, give control in all scenarios. That's the big thing is dogs can't talk, so you have to be the advocate for their safety and their well-being. And sometimes that just means, you know, go to your place, get out of here for just a second while I take care of business. But that's really kind of what I wanted to do today, is just talk through some of the end points of training a command like this. They've both done really well. They've both settled down. They're laying down here chilling out. So I'm more than happy with this. I can't wait to see, you know, what their parents continue to do at home. And of course, I'll be side by side with them, helping them through the process and working out any kinks if those pop up. But that's all we've got today. So if y'all do have any questions, you can always comment them below and let me know. Good job, boys.